Most professionals spend more time planning their vacations than they spend protecting their careers. 15 minutes a week, structured correctly, compounds into something that takes years to build any other way. That is what this is about. Let me tell you about a conversation I had with a senior project manager named David. 14 years at the same company, good reviews, trusted by everyone in the room. His division restructured in October. He had 6 weeks of severance, a LinkedIn profile he had not touched since 2019, and exactly 0 people outside his company who knew what he was capable of. He was not lazy. He was not naive. He had simply never built the habit because nothing had forced him to, until it did. What I am going to walk you through is the exact 15-minute weekend routine that prevents you from being David. Not a course, not a side hustle, not a second job. A quiet, consistent habit that keeps your options open while you keep doing the job you already have. The kind of thing you will not notice building until the day you genuinely need it, and then you will be very glad it is there. Here is the structure. Every weekend, 15 minutes, split into 3 5-minute blocks. That is it. The discipline is not in the effort, it is in the consistency. Let me walk through each block. The first 5 minutes are what I call the signal scan. You are not reading the news. You are reading your industry, specifically for signals that your role is changing shape. One trig application of one link is your job title accompanied one either above yours, and a quick look at 3 or 4 job postings for roles similar to yours. You are not job hunting. You are gathering intelligence. You are looking for what skills appear in every listing now that did not appear 2 years ago. You are looking for which responsibilities are being bundled into other roles, which titles are disappearing, and which new ones are emerging. This takes 5 minutes if you have a system, which means bookmarking 3 or 4 sources and returning to the same ones weekly rather than starting fresh every time. What you are building is pattern recognition. Over months, you will start to see the shape of where your profession is heading before most of your colleagues do. That early awareness is worth more than almost any credential. The second 5 minutes are the visibility deposit. This is the block most professionals skip because it feels uncomfortable, or they tell themselves they have nothing useful to say. Both are wrong. The visibility deposit is one small, deliberate act that puts your name and your thinking in front of people outside your immediate team. It could be a short comment on someone's LinkedIn post, a genuine one that adds a specific observation rather than just agreeing. It could be a 2-sentence reply to an industry newsletter. It could be forwarding a useful article to one person with a single line of context about why you thought of them. None of these feel significant in isolation. Accumulated over a year, they do something important. They make you a known quantity to people who are not your boss. When David needed references, introductions, and a reason for people to take his calls, he had almost none of that outside his building. You are building it in 5 minutes a week, invisibly, without announcing that you are doing it. The third 5 minutes are the asset update. Every week, you spend 5 minutes adding one small, specific thing to what I call your evidence file. This is a private document, nothing fancy, where you record concrete proof of your work, not job duties, not responsibilities, results, numbers if you have them, a process you improved and what that improvement actually changed, a problem you solved that nobody asked you to solve, a decision you influenced, a system you built. The reason this matters is that most professionals, when they eventually need to articulate their value, whether in an interview, a performance review, or a conversation with someone who could change their career, find that they cannot remember the specifics. Memory degrades, the evidence file does not. And here is the compounding effect. After a year of weekly 5-minute deposits, you have a precise, detailed account of what you actually do and what it is worth. Value. Now let me address the objection I know some of you are already forming. 15 minutes feels too small to matter. I want to push back on that directly, because the instinct to think that meaningful progress requires a large block of dedicated time is one of the most expensive beliefs a mid-career professional can hold. The research on habit formation is consistent. Small actions at high frequency compound in ways that large occasional efforts do not. A 4 to 5 minute session once a month produces a fraction of the results of 5 minutes every weekend, because the gap between sessions is long enough to lose continuity, lose momentum, and lose the subtle pattern recognition that only comes from showing up regularly. 15 minutes a week is 780 minutes a year. That is 13 hours of focused, structured career protection work, done in fragments so small they never feel burdensome. But here is what nobody tells you about this routine. The most valuable thing it builds is not the evidence file or the network or the signal intelligence, though all of those matter. The most valuable thing it builds is the identity shift that comes from being someone who actively manages their career rather than passively experiencing it. David told me months after his layoff that the worst part was not the financial pressure, it was the helplessness, the feeling that his career had always been happening to him, not with him. The 15-minute plan is not primarily a tactic. It is a reorientation. It is the difference between someone who waits to see what the company decides and someone who already knows what they would do next. One specific action you can take today, right now, before this video ends. Open a blank document and write down 3 results from the last 90 days at your job. Not tests, results. If you cannot think of 3, that is important information. It means the evidence file is urgently needed. If you can think of 3 easily, that is also important information, because it means the raw material is there and you have simply not been capturing it. Either way, that documents the beginning of your evidence file, and you have now started the 3rd block of the routine without even scheduling a weekend session. The professionals who will be most exposed when AI continues to reshape their industries are not the ones with the wrong skills. They are the ones who have no external visibility, no documented track record, and no pattern recognition about where their field is heading. Those 3 deficits are exactly what the 15-minute plan addresses, one small deposit at a time. You do not need to reinvent your career. You do not need to become a content creator or launch a business or go back to school. You need a quiet, consistent habit that keeps your options open, your thinking sharp, and your name known to the right people. 15 minutes, every weekend. Start this one.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.